Welcome to the Front 7 podcast right here on YouTube. I am your host, Money Mike, and it is now officially August, which means football season is right around the corner. We have the Hall of Fame game on Sunday between the Colts and the Packers. We got the Hall of Fame ceremony on Saturday night. But today I do want to talk a little bit about the current situation with the San Diego Chargers. Joey Bosa drafted 3rd overall in the draft. It caught everybody off guard. I think a lot of people, they looked at the Chargers, they said, okay, they'll probably draft Tunzel or Stanley. There was a lot of Ronnie Stanley talk going to the Chargers at 3, that he was ahead of Laramie Tunzel just before the draft began. It was like this little push where Stanley all of a sudden was the number 1 tackle, but yet the Chargers passed up on both of them in order to take Joey Bosa, who in, I think, every single mock draft that I've read did not once have Joey Bosa mocked to the Chargers, because I think nobody really saw it as a need, or maybe most people thought they could address it on day 2. I don't know. But it did catch a lot of people off guard. And now, are we in a situation that's not too similar to what happened to the Chargers in 2004 with Eli Manning, because that was a draft day trade where the Chargers and the Giants basically flipped picks and took Eli Manning from San Diego to New York, Phillip Rivers from New York to San Diego, and we've seen and know how that has worked out. And here we are again. Now, there isn't a draft day trade scenario. The draft is long gone. But what we do have is the longest holdout with this new rookie wage scale. Joey Bosa has yet to show up to training camp, and it's a wonder of when he is going to show up. So I want to talk a little bit about this situation and whether or not the Chargers should try to trade Joey Bosa before next Tuesday, August 9th, because essentially, under the new CBA, rookies cannot be traded, or I guess first-round rookies, I'm guessing this means first-round draft picks cannot be traded under the new CBA, or they can be traded, but it's just up to the 30th day before the league year begins. So essentially, with the Panthers heading to Denver on September 8th, the San Diego Chargers have until next Tuesday, August 9th, in order to successfully trade him to some team if they choose to do so. Now, let me just break it down here. What would happen if he does not show up, he does not play this year, what happens next year? Because it is very interesting to see a rookie hold out in this day of age with the rookie wage scale, and this is something that we really thought we would not see with this, since the contracts and the money is essentially guaranteed. So here's the thing. Bosa right now, he is not under contract. Now, he can sign at any time. I mean, he could sign while I am recording this show and before I even post it on YouTube and make this whole entire video completely worthless. But he can also sign tomorrow. He could sign on Saturday, Sunday, Monday. He can sign up to any point up through week number 10 of the regular season. So, essentially, if Joey Bosa feels like the Chargers are ripping him off, in which I'll get to in a little bit, essentially, he can hold out into the regular season. He can hold out through week number 10 of the regular season. Which, again, I mean, this is like unheard of. That this would even be possible. If he remains unsigned, he cannot play in 2016 if he is unsigned through week number 10. Now, what would happen at the end of the season? Bosa basically would be free to enter the draft in 2017. The Chargers would retain exclusive rights to him. Unfortunately for him, I don't know. But I would imagine if he were to go back into the draft next year, that essentially, for him, he would have to go through the whole process. But at the same time, because the Chargers have exclusive rights to him, if he were not to sign at all, essentially the Chargers would hold on to his rights, meaning no team can talk to him before the draft, and he would not even be able to go to the scouting combine again. So if he were to decide, hey, you know what, maybe re-entering the draft is best for me, I'll go get picked by another team, whatever the case may be. He can do that, but he just can't talk to any teams leading up to the draft, which I think would be very interesting because I think teams would want to know before the draft why he held out, what made him decide to do that, re-enter the draft, everything that, went through his mind leading up to the draft the following year in 2017, because I think teams would be a little bit wary in terms, say, he held out, is he going to hold out again if we were to draft him this year? So there's a lot of questions that Bosa technically would not be able to answer to any of the 31 other teams. And I'm certain the Chargers would not redraft him after going through this whole fiasco this year. So, looking at it, yeah, there is a possibility that Joey Bosa could go back and re-enter the 2017 NFL Draft. Again, as I said, they could trade him, but the only problem with that is that they have been resistant on the trade happening in the first place. It seems like the Chargers don't want to trade him, but if some team were to blow them away before next Tuesday, August 9th, okay, maybe. But essentially they have until August 9th, and that's only a couple days away. So are they really going to find a trade partner that quickly? And that's going to be a team player for this, because Joey Bosa is going to have to essentially agree to not just end his holdout in this trade, but also show up and play for the other team. Because if he were to get traded and then, the whole money issue, which I'm about to get into here, is still going on, and another team gets the headache. I mean, I don't know. It just seems like this whole thing is kind of just mind-boggling to me. Chargers head coach Mike McCoy, he has said, we want everybody here. His teammates want him here. We all understand the type of player he is, but I'm very excited and pleased with where our team is today. Joey is just going to make us that much better when he gets here. I'm ready for him to be here today. And that's from Chargers head coach Mike McCoy. Tom Telesco, the Chargers general manager, he's even unsure of when Joey Bosa is going to show up. I guess we'll see. I really don't know if he'll show up. We're still working on it. Hopefully we'll get something done, but I don't know. He has said, the organization has had ongoing conversations with Bosa's representation, but the two sides have not come to a resolution. Now, the issue here, and I think everybody needs to understand this here, is, okay, the rookie wage scale essentially pretty much sets the money that a rookie is going to make each year. And so, with that being said, there are things that the teams can still negotiate. At issue, right now, the reason he is still holding out is the use of offset language and the fact that the Chargers want to be cheap and defer his bonus money to next year. Now, I don't understand why the Chargers are being cheap, why they don't want to pay him the bonus money now and they want to defer it to next year. I don't understand that because every other team, the top 5 picks and top 10 picks, they don't have that in their contracts. But yet here we are, the Chargers are botching this whole entire thing by trying to defer bonuses and offset language, and it's crazy. The Chargers right now are in a situation where they have to show the city of San Diego that they want to win. They want to have a committed winning team in San Diego. But, if the fans of San Diego see this, see what's going on, where the Chargers organization themselves are screwing this whole thing up, what is that going to do to the vote in terms of keeping the team in San Diego and building a new stadium? And why would the fans in San Diego put their taxpayers' money towards a team that doesn't even want to try to win and wants to be cheap? San Diego's all good to go and ready to take the San Diego taxpayers' money for a new stadium, but yet they want to be cheap and defer bonus money and offset language and all this other stuff in Bosa's contract. And again, remember, the other teams, their rookies do not have anything like this. This is why he is still unsigned. This is on the Chargers, not Joey Bosa. I know there's a lot of people that blame Joey Bosa, but when you see that every other rookie is signed and you see this whole thing going on with the bonus money and everything, this falls right onto the lap of the Chargers. We have to wonder, will this end? Will this end in some kind of trade? Who knows? For me, if I was a Chargers fan, this would have to be so frustrating to see a team that was picking third last year, picking third in the draft last year, who has a chance at to take a very, very top talented player in the top 3, and to botch this. How much more can you sway this whole thing of, it's like you're swaying this whole entire stadium thing, new stadium and all this other stuff, but it's like, okay, but you're not even showing your commitment to winning because you're trying to be cheap. So you're refusing to sign your top draft pick because of some bonus money, when there's no other team that has had this situation happen. All the other top 5, top 10 picks are signed. So it's going to be interesting to see. Definitely going to be interesting if Joey Bosa's agent tries to get him to or tries to facilitate a trade before next Tuesday to send him to a team that would pay him just like the other teams have done for their rookies. And I imagine it would be definitely have to give San Diego a first-round pick next year. Maybe even more, but definitely a trade for Bosa is going to involve next year's first-round pick for sure. Because in hindsight, if you think about it, it's almost like using the first-round pick next year on Joey Bosa, who could essentially re-enter the draft next year, be a first-round pick anyway. So it's almost like using your first-round pick on him next year anyway if you give it up. But again, when you have holdouts like this, the most interesting thing is, well, that window of opportunity opens up for somebody else. Darius Philon, if I said that right, hopefully I said that right. He was a 6th-round pick in the 2015 draft, and with Joey Bosa sitting out due to his contract dispute, he's getting first-team reps at defensive end and has played really, really well in Joey Bosa's absence. Mike McCoy says Joey is not here, but we're going to go out there and work extremely hard, and someone has to step into his spot and make the most of it. When asked about the situation, Philon said, whether I'm with the starters or the threes, I'm going to always work at it as I'm taking my last rep. He's thriving in this opportunity that has been created by the Chargers themselves for screwing this whole entire thing up over some bonus money. And now, whether or not Joey Bosa comes to San Diego this year or he doesn't, well, that remains to be seen. Let me know in the comments below what you think. Who's in the right? Who's in the wrong? Is it Joey Bosa who is in the wrong? And do you side with the Chargers on this? Or do you agree with Joey Bosa's stance and his holdout and are blaming the Chargers organization themselves? Let me know in the comments below. I've been your host, Money Mike. Coming up on the front 7 this month, I will have season previews and predictions leading up to the first regular season game of the year on September 8th when the Panthers visit the Broncos in a Super Bowl rematch. I will start my predictions this weekend as I will go around the AFC division by division, breaking down the previews of each teams in the division starting this weekend. So make sure you subscribe to this channel for more of the Front 7 podcasts as the football season is gearing up to begin. And don't forget about the Everything Else podcast. Again, I've been your host, Money Mike. Football season is here, and the best time of the year is now.